So welcome, is Chiara Fogaterra from Transition2BIO. I'm the coordinator of this project that has just started, funded by Horizon 2020. And I'm really happy to interview today Adele, and that will give us some information today about the material-driven story. So, Adele, can you tell us the story of material-driven?
Yes, of course, I'd love to. So basically, Material Driven actually has a really interesting background. I am an accessories designer, and I specialized in material research in my last few years as I was living in London. And I created many exhibitions with materials. And one day, my business partner, Purva, came to visit my exhibition, and we started chatting, and we realized that we had very similar interest in materials. And she had already started an online platform called Material Driven. And so together we brought together our expertise. She's an architect. And that's how we started Material Driven 4 years ago in London, bringing both of our experiences together.
Wonderful, because I see from your website that you are already in Dallas and Bilbao also. So
Yeah. So my business partner lives in the U.S. So we started another branch there where we work with clients in the U.S. basically. And then because I guess as so many people have experienced change through the pandemic, I have also now started a new branch in Bilbao in Spain. And so I'm leading on the European side, I guess, European and UK side.
yes, really nice. But may I ask you the latest renewable material with you have worked with?
hmm So I guess that's super interesting because we're working with such a range of new sources for renewable materials from, or living organisms we're looking at a lot, like working with algae. We've got some examples here of a beautiful bioplastic that comes from algae, which is highly renewable. Also, a lot of waste, food waste. Food waste is such a constant in our lives. It's highly renewable, and you can make incredible materials. I've got some samples here, like this beautiful fruit leather, which I love because it has a really nice feel. It almost feels like leather, but it's made out of food waste, um, or even garbage. So, our everyday garbage, the amount we produce, it's so renewable, it's constant. And actually, there's a company in Israel that's turned our garbage, all of it together, the mix of the plastics and the organic, into a pellet that can be thermo-shaped into many products. So I think those are some of the really exciting products that we're seeing with renewable materials.
So how do you work? So you are looking around the world for companies that produce such materials in a form of raw material, and then you shape it for
No,
different customers. How
no.
does it
So
work?
yeah, so good question. Everyone asks us this. So we work more like a library as an inspiration. So we do look all over the world for materials, for innovators. They can be companies, but they can also be individual designers. Sometimes they're universities. Sometimes it's a combination of a designer with a company or university. And we look for their innovation. We have from the very experimental. So another example, this is a designer in the UK. She makes yarn or string using human hair. And this obviously isn't a material that you can just buy, a box of. It's still experimental. But we also work with larger companies or mid-sized companies that produce materials. I have here a beautiful vegan leather made in India with bacterial cellulose. And this designer does sell these pieces. However, we don't get involved in the sale. We basically assist in our consultancies. We assist our clients in finding and understanding the new options, and then we connect them with the supplier.
Ah, nice. I understand. And the side of the general public, how do you get in contact with the general public? Do you have any kind of activity for them?
Yes, absolutely. It's been a little bit more difficult this year because of the pandemic, but normally because our library is closed, it's in-house, it's our resource. We do want the general public to see and understand. So we do generally have exhibitions every 3, 4 months. We'll have an exhibition within a context, maybe London Design Festival or Architect at Work, a trade show will call us, and we will create an experience for the general public to come, touch, feel, smell, and understand all the samples. And normally we tell a beautiful story around it so they can understand. And then we also do a lot of education. So we work at universities and in schools where we also try to reach out to the more general public and explain the beauty of the materials.
Ah, nice. It's a wonderful word, I would say. But with the kids, do you have any experience also with the very young kids? Because we have learned that if we really want to change the lifestyle and the way we consumption, probably we have to start with the very young generations. What
Yeah,
do you think?
yeah, we absolutely agree. I think we teach a lot at university, and we find that a lot of designers, by the time they get to university, have a very fixed mindset. So it is definitely important to talk with the younger age group, and we also find that younger children are so much more open-minded to understand and absorb these concepts. So we do work with kids. We've been to schools, and we do like a bit of a less intense version of what we do for university students, but we do try to explain concepts like what does sustainability mean, what is recycling, what is biodegradable, help them understand the main concepts, and then we illustrate it with the samples and the materials. And of course, children love the stories. If we explain that this is made with human hair or with garbage, that's really exciting for them. And then we can also do hands-on workshops where we teach them how to make bioplastics with algae or with starch, and they can take home a little piece of a plastic with them.
Really nice experience. But so my question is about your first experience. So when you have all these materials, and as you said, clients approach you to understand the new materials, but then you follow them in creating also new products, or you just connect with the supplier and the stop.
So we've done both because both Perv and myself, we are designers. She's an architect. I am a fashion designer. We have the capacity. So with some clients, we have developed final products. And sometimes we just, because many of our clients already have a design team, what we do many times is do the introduction and then let them connect their design team with the supplier.
Yeah.
How, for example, it's interesting in our US branch where Purva is the lead of that side, I guess. We find that American clients are much more interested in us developing the final product. So we have been more involved in, say, the development of a lamp for a hotel or products like that.
Ah, nice. But taking into account your experiences, so what are the sectors that are more engaged in such a transformation,
Mm-hmm.
especially for I don't know, for the future? I think that you have in mind where are the sectors to work with
Mm-hmm.
the more mostly, no?
I mean, I think really all design sectors right now are so aware of their responsibility of putting more objects into the market, and they have to be, ethical and sustainable. I think fashion is clearly one of the bigger ones. Obviously, there's a big like focus on them. So there is a lot of effort put into using more biodegradable materials or organic fibers, and also just the ethics in their manufacturing process. Construction is another one. Construction, however, has bigger difficulties because, of course, a material that goes into a building needs more testing and certification. So there is more time before a material can actually reach the market. But I believe there's a lot of research being put into that side because of the huge amount of waste that they produce. Another sector which is interesting is interiors, which I guess is part of the construction world, but a little bit easier to implement. So we're seeing a lot of decorative elements like these tiles made out of coffee waste, where it's put on the wall, but it doesn't support the weight, so it's not so difficult to test. And then I think the last one I would mention is packaging. Also, a lot of focus, both food packaging, clothes packaging, product packaging. There's a lot of evolution in that sector as well.
And so for young generation, what kind of education do you suggest to be successful in the future?
That's a really good question. I think there's a mix of things. I mean, obviously, um, just as a general person, to be more aware of what sustainability means. I think as a designer, I also teach my students to be critical. So when a supplier says, yes, my material is sustainable or green, a designer should ask good questions, better questions. Why are you green? What does this mean? When you say it's biodegradable, how? So I think being inquisitive, being critical, um, and then I would say if a designer actually wants to get involved in the creation of a new material, then I think they need to be very open-minded, very transdisciplinary. So learn from all kinds of industries. Don't be afraid of embracing science as well, asking support from a scientific expert. And then I think finally, very importantly, I don't think a lot of the designers realize, but you need to be a good entrepreneur. I think if you're going to make a material and you really want to put it in the market, you're going to have to, learn how to work in a more entrepreneurial way. Oh, and here's Purva joining us.
Hi,
Ciao,
everyone.
Purva.
So, my apologies, everyone. Sorry, life with a newborn is a bit unpredictable. My sincere apologies.
And you are connected from?
The US.
I'm calling from the US. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Purva, I was mentioning she's leading on the US branch and working with our clients there.
Nice. I was asking Adele about education. So, what we should suggest to the young generation in order to be involved in such a sector.
Yes. So the education side is so crucial. I think, especially every day, I think we realize how important it is. We're talking about new, exciting materials, but more and more people have to learn about it, both not just students, but companies as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Adele told us about the many activities that you do to engage people, to educate people, and we really hope that this pandemic will be overcome as soon as possible in order to meet again and also to touch products and to understand and know and open new markets. So it's really important for this sector. So I really was an amazing moment because I didn't know about Material Driven since a few days ago, and so I'm sure that also all our followers will be really enthusiastic of your experience. Invite all of them to reach your website to check all your experiences because are really amazing. Thank you very much and stay connected with us also. Thank you very much, Adele, and thank you, Purva.
Thank you, Chiara. It's been a pleasure.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.